This is Boxing Talk 8576 coming at you. I want to talk about a thing that's going on in the YouTube boxing community now. And that's the pound for pound. Who's the best pound for pound fighter? Everybody has their pound for pound list, but mine is going to be different. I'm not going to do a pound for pound list. I'm going to do a pound for pound fighter. I'm going to do one fighter as my pound for pound fighter, and it's because of this reason. When we do a top 10 list, we tend to let guys sit on the top 10 and just stale out the top 10. And sometimes we're a little biased and we let guys sit there even though they're not as active as they were, or, guys are your favorite fighters, so you're going to kind of push them to the top. So in order for me not to have guys that just sit there and have a top 10, I'm going to do a pound for pound fighter, because I want other fighters to strive to be number one, not to be number 9, number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5, or even number 2. I want you to strive to be number one. I want you to look at number one and say, this is what I have to do to become number one. Now, my pound for pound fighter and my only pound for pound fighter, the criteria is active, being able to display, multifaceted styles in the ring, fighting different styles and being able to achieve the same results even though you're fighting a different style of fighter previous to the fight that you fought, and being a champion, and if you're a champion, displaying a championship's heart, inside and outside the ring. So the guy I'm picking is Terrence Bud Crawford. This is the guy who I, became to like, when he took the British press card fight at I think a 5 or 6 day notice. He took that fight, went in and dominated British press card at 135. I believe the fight was at 135. If we all know British press card, he was the one that gave Amir Khan his first loss. He knocked out Amir Khan and gave Amir Khan his first loss. British press card, he's a puncher. Crawford went in there and displayed a great skill set by shutting down the puncher, shutting him out in the fight. I thought Crawford won just about every round. I thought he outclassed British Prescott. And I just think he just went in there at a 5 day notice and just, displayed, a great performance. And, he became the man at 135. He beat Gamboa, who was an Olympic gold medalist, who was undefeated. Gamboa came out in the fight in the first 4 rounds. I thought Gamboa won the first 4 rounds of the fight. And then I think Crawford made an adjustment, turned southpaw, and turned the fight around, ended up stopping Gamboa. So in that fight, Crawford displayed that the fight is not going well with me on my A game, my A game performance. I can't do what I wanted to do initially, so I'm gonna change it up, switch it up, and I'm gonna see what I can do with my B game. And he showed with his B game he could still, beat a guy that was Olympic gold medalist and knock him out. Gamboa, had some a great run in boxing, and he did well. So he was a credible opponent. I know he was coming up, but we always have guys that that comes up from different weight classes to challenge the bigger guys because they're also daring to be great. We always get that small guy that wants to come up. Broner went up to fight Mananaji. Guys like that. Most famous when Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran fought. Duran came up and fought Sugar Ray Leonard. We had Shane Mosley come up and fight Oscar De La Hoya. We had Oscar De La Hoya go up and fight Hopkins. So we had Roy Jones go up and fight John Louise at heavyweight. So smaller guys always go up to challenge bigger guys to see if they can get the job done. But Crawford said, no, not on my watch. You're not going to come up here and be able to, make a name or become a superstar by beating me. And then, Crawford went to 140, and he did the same thing he did at 135. He dominated 140. He's currently still dominating 140. He has beat rugged guys like John Molina Jr., who's a brawler. He went in there and just displayed great boxing skills against John Molina Jr. and got a TKO victory. He beat Victor Poso, a long, tall, skinny guy that can punch, the guy that can box, a guy that had a nice jab, who I thought would give him some trouble because of that jab. He neutralized the jab with good movement, good angles. He ended up dropping post style a couple times. So he dominated that fight. He beat a rugged fighter in Hank Lundy and TKO'd him. Him and Hank Lundy had some bad blood during the build up of the fight. He went in there and TKO'd him. He beat Derry Jean, who was a pretty good fighter. He was a nice contender at the time that he beat him. He beat Ricky Burns. He went over to to the UK and beat Ricky Burns. I always like a guy that travels. He not only traveled from state to state, he went outside the country and beat Ricky Burns. So that was a great victory. Ricky Burns is not a great fighter. That was a great victory because of the atmosphere he went in, and he went to a different country, and he beat Ricky Burns under all his circumstances. So he showed that he could overcome that. So Crawford is my pound for pound #1 fighter. I don't have a list. I just have a #1 fighter because I want other guys to look at Terrence Crawford and say, that's what I have to be. That's what I have to do to be #1. Not number 8, not number 9, not number 10, not number 5, not number 2. To be #1. So right now, as of today, Terrence Crawford is my #1 pound for pound fighter, my only pound for pound